can't provide a good plan for healing if you don't consider the whole body. So that is especially important in a situation like diastasis recti, where it's not just about the abdominal muscles or about your six-pack muscles. It's about the whole body system's way of moving and these patterns of movement that have been problematic to the health of the rectus abdominis muscles. So the good news is that no matter how old you are, how long ago you had children, or how long ago you got this diastasis recti problem, you can remedy it at any time in your life because our bodies are amazing. They are so good at healing themselves when we give them gentle nudges in the right direction. Unfortunately, many women think that by doing more planks, more crunches, more abdominal exercises, that will heal an abdominal separation. And it just won't. And honestly, that can exacerbate the problem. So we have to do these mindful, small, focused exercises to strengthen this rectus abdominis muscle and allow it to be in proper alignment throughout our daily activities through the support of the surrounding muscles so that it can heal itself and become aligned again and not be overstretched and not be too shortened. Every muscle in our body has its favorite length in order to work properly, and we need to help you to get your rectus abdominis back into its favorite length. Now, there are many ways to measure diastasis recti. A lot of people will use a finger method to determine how far separated. They'll measure you up here, middle, and lower. You know, there's tons of ways to measure it, but let's work on fixing it. The easiest way to know if you have it is if you're lying on your back and you lift up and you notice a doming. You lift up your head and you notice a doming or poking up of your abdominal muscles. So let's get in touch with how to begin strengthening these muscles. So I want you to bring your knees up to your chest and then slowly touch the tips of your toes down. And I don't want you to have any poking up of that abdominal wall. Bring your knees up slowly and bring your toes down to touch, just barely touch, and then slowly up and slowly down. Now the slow and steady is the key part. A lot of people want to do things fast, 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 and that's not what you need to heal. You need that mindful, engaged motion. Good, let's do about 3 more. 1. You can relax your upper body. You can even put your arms in goalpost arms to take advantage of this nice stretch. And if you start to notice your abdomen poking out, do a smaller range of motion. It doesn't have to be big. It's more important to go gradually and build upon that strength than it is to bang out a motion. A lot of these things that we're going to discuss today involve a total body approach because you can't treat one area of the body in isolation. Any kind of impairment in the body is a cumulative effect of malalignment, weakness, tightness. So we're going to look at the entire body, and what that means for this situation is we are going to look at the pelvis a lot. So let's start by lying on your back, and let's do some gentle pelvic tucks and tilts to wake up the pelvis area and warm it up. So tuck up your pelvis up towards the ceiling and then tip your tailbone down towards the floor. Tuck the pelvis to the ceiling, tailbone to the floor. Let's do that 10 times. Pelvis to the ceiling, tailbone to the floor. Now the reason why this is important is because we want you to have range of motion in your lower back, and we also want you to get in touch with strengthening your gluteal muscles and using your gluteal muscles more. Because as we age, we stop using our glutes as much as we did when we were younger. And I'll explain more about that in a minute. So we're just waking up the pelvis, we're getting in touch with this motion. And if you want to, you can even poke or gently brush against your gluteal muscles to get them to fire and to send that signal more clearly to your brain that these are the muscles we want to wake up. Now, I'd like you to have a strap. So right now, I'm just using a belt, and you're gonna loop it around your legs, this side of your knees, and you're gonna make the loop just about as wide as your knees can go, as wide as your pelvis. The two bones that are poking out when you are lying on your back like this, those are your anterior superior iliac spines, also known as ASIS, of your pelvis. So that's a pretty good indicator of what hip width apart or pelvis width apart is. So we've got our loop around our legs. Our legs are stabilized at about hip width apart. Our feet are flat on the floor. And what we're going to do now is we're going to press out against the resistance and hold it for 3 seconds. And then relax. Press out and hold. And relax. So continue doing that for 3-second holds each time. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why do we stop using our glutes? The reason why is that women, as we get older, we've been exposed to more and more of the hormone relaxin. Now the hormone relaxin is a really important hormone for when we have babies or if we have babies. It allows our joints to loosen and spread apart. Now this is great for when you're shooting a baby out of a tiny opening, but we also get it a little bit each month with our period, because remember, our bodies don't know whether or not we're actually pregnant each month, and it gets ready like we are pregnant every month. So there's a little bit of relaxin that we get into our bodies every month for as long as we have periods. So that even that little bit of relaxin can affect the alignment of our joints. And for women, that's going to affect our pelvis big time. So we want to get our hip joints and our pelvis aligned where it needs to be so that the muscles can work effectively. And that's where the glute thing comes in, because if your pelvis is not aligned, the glute muscles aren't well aligned, and it's harder to recruit them. And so we over-rely on our hamstrings, we over-rely on our low backs, all kinds of things. So this simple motion where I am pressing out against resistance, holding it for 3 seconds, it is engaging my glute muscles, but it's also like physics, because as I'm pushing out against this resistance, there's naturally an inward pressure here on this lever arm. So that's creating a press in to my pelvis every time I press out with my legs. And that is helping to not only tighten the muscles, but to help the joints get back where we want them to be, so that we can strengthen our bodies in a healthy, aligned fashion. So progressing on with this exercise, keep the loop around your knees, and while you're pressing out gently, I'd like you to incorporate that tuck. So we're going to tuck the pelvis up all the while pressing out slowly, and then go back down slowly. Press out and tuck up slowly. Press out and tuck down slowly. So all the while you've got a gentle force outward on this loop, and you're tucking and tilting that pelvis. Think up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. Up, 2, 3. Down, 2, 3. Now, one of the key things about this as it relates to abdominal separation is that we need a strong pelvis and strong glutes in order to have healthy postures throughout the day. And that is going to be so key in helping your diastasis recti to heal, because we want that muscle to be in a position where it can get stronger. I will talk about posture later in the video, but I know that you guys want to dive right in, get some good exercise, and start being active about getting this healed. So I thought I'd go for the exercises first. Okay, another posture piece that is really important for diastasis recti healing is being able to engage the rib cage muscles to support the rest of the abdominals. So lie on your back and let your ribs flare. See how mine are sticking out? And I have a tendency to let them flare, which is actually not very good. You want to have the skill to lace up like a pair of sneakers and tighten down this rib cage. So let's do a little activity here where you put your hands on your rib cage and you're gonna take a deep breath in and allow your rib cage to expand, and your hands are gonna separate. And then when you exhale, your ribs are gonna come closer together. And then as you inhale, your ribs will separate, and as you exhale, your hands will come together. Now, another great way to assess this is with your strap for your belt. So if you put it behind your rib cage, and we're not gonna lock it in, but you're just going to put it around right below your breasts here, and exhale. See how much slack you can take out? Exhale, 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 and then inhale. See how much you can expand the rib cage. And this gives you a nice little visual cue of how much work you're actually doing. You want to have a nice big delta there where between the exhale, so much slack, and then inhale. Good. Next, I'd like you to straighten your legs up to the ceiling. And I think of this kind of like Barbie legs. I'm not a big Barbie fan, but I think of Barbie legs. So if you had those non-articulating legs, your legs would be stick straight and your toes would be pointed up to the ceiling. So you're like Barbie legs. And you know how Barbie can only articulate here in the hip joints? That's the only place that you are going to articulate. But let's get settled here first. So your legs are pinned straight up to the ceiling. And you may need to be down here for now if you're not flexible enough to have your legs up towards the ceiling. And even just holding this pin straight position, it's work. I can poke here and I feel my lower abs working. Now your rectus abdominus goes from your pubic bone all the way up to your rib cage. So strengthening down here is just as important as strengthening here or here. So our legs are stick straight up to the ceiling. And if this is all you could do without the doming, great. Just hang out here. If you can progress without doming, you can begin to lift your tailbone off the mat. Now this is not a big motion at all. You are just gently curling the tailbone off the mat. Now remember, the tailbone is the part that's fused to the end of the sacrum. You're not moving a whole lot. You're just lifting off that tailbone, and you are engaging these muscles. So put your hands here to feel it work and think about lifting off. Now, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but like I'm quivering and I am very strong. I did have two daughters, vaginal birth, and I definitely did have some diastasis recti that I've been able to remedy with these exercises, but it's a challenge. And you'll also notice that if you are lifting straight up to the ceiling, which is what I want you to do, I do not want your legs coming over here for you to do it. This is not the exercise we're going for. We're going for straight up to the ceiling, or if you're here, out in that direction, not over your face. So straight up to the ceiling. And when you're doing this, you'll be able to feel your glute muscles engaging. And that's what I'm talking about. Your abdomen works with your glutes, and it's all interconnected. So they all need to be strong and able to fire and able to work. All right. Whew. Next, we're going to go over how to engage your abdominal muscles while on your stomach. This is great because it allows the floor to give our abdominal muscles some support, and it helps to get the rectus abdominus more in close proximity, because there's two halves to your rectus abdominus. If you think about a six-pack, you've got 3 running down one side, 3 running down the other side. You got the belly button in the middle, and you've got the linea alba is what it's called, that line that goes down the center of the rectus abdominis muscles. So anyways, let's get to it. On our stomachs, you're going to first just get settled, maybe rock your pelvis side to side, and then I want you to think about your pubic bone pressing into the mat or whatever surface you're lying on. So your pubic bone is obviously right down there, and let it press into the mat, and you're going to put your head on your forehead on your stacked hands. So they're stacked like this. Now while you're here, just relaxing, I'm going to turn my head for the sake of the microphone hearing me. You are going to think about a parade going under your belly button. So you're going to lift up to allow a parade to go under here. Now, you may or may not be able to lift up that much, but the idea is still there, and you're creating that lift, and you're going to hold that for 30 seconds while you've got your forehead down on your hands. And relax your upper body and hold that for 30 seconds, and then you're going to relax. Again, forehead's on your hands. Think about that parade coming underneath your belly button, and your pelvis is pushing into the floor, holding it for 30 seconds, and relax. Let's do 2 more. Forehead on hands. Press your pelvis into the ground. And you can even, if you want to, start to engage your legs by straightening them pin straight like those Barbie legs we were talking about, and allow a parade to go under your belly button. It's like a big arch going from your pubic bone up to your rib cage. Holding 30 seconds, all the while breathing, and then relax. Last time, hands on your forehead. Pin straight legs, get those Barbie legs straight, straight, straight. Then press your pelvis into the mat and lift so that a parade can go under your belly button. Relax your upper body. Breathe normally.
And we're holding this for 30 seconds. Think about lifting. There's that parade. You don't want to squash anybody. And then relax.
So the next progression from the parade under the belly button is we're going to add some glute strengthening to it. So it's 2 for 1. Love efficiency. So with your hands, your head on your forehead, I'm going to turn so that you can hear me. You're going to think about those stick straight Barbie legs. You're going to think about the parade going underneath your abdomen, your pubic bone pressing down into the mat. With your legs super duper straight, you're going to lift up one leg, super straight, and let it down. Lift up the other leg, super duper straight, and let it down. So this is a slow, lengthening motion. You're trying to maintain an equal pressure between both sides of your pelvis into the ground as you are slowly lengthening your legs as you lift them, all the while pressing your pelvis into the ground, your pubic bone into the ground, and all the while trying to maintain that arch for the parade under your belly button.
So let's do a couple more on each side. Lengthening, lengthening as much as you can.
Good. So if you do 10 sets, 1 leg lift on each side, that is a really great workout that will strengthen the rectus abdominis and the gluteal muscles and will help you to get that alignment that we're going for. All right, now we're going to focus on strengthening the upper back more. So lying on your stomach, your legs are going to be stick straight again, heels together. You are going to press your pubic bone into the mat so that you can get that parade going under your belly. Sorry, I use that term a lot, it gets old. But it's really illustrative of how I want you to think of your abdomen lifting under here. So press that pubic bone into the mat, lift so that the parade can go under your belly, and rest your head on your forehead. Now the difference with this one is we are going to lift our hands and head up just a little bit off of the floor, like 2 inches, and then relax back down. Think of lengthening through the crown of your head. Think of lengthening through your feet. Your feet are touching, legs are stick straight, your heels are touching, so it kind of looks like that. Stick straight. Your abdomen is engaged, pubic bone pressing into the ground, parade under the belly, and you're going to lift up only about 2-3 inches and hold it, and then relax down. Let's do 3 more of these. Engage, legs straight, pelvis, pubic bone pushed into the ground, parade under the waist, lengthening through the crown of your head, lift your head and arms off the mat 2 inches while your forehead and your palms or in your stacked hands are still in contact with each other. Back down. Let's do 1 more. Stick straight legs, pubic bone press down, parade under the waist, hands right under your forehead, connected to your forehead, and you're going to lift about 2 inches and hold, all the while trying to make your body as long as you can, and then down. final and most important component to healing rectus abdominal separation is posture. So, as I mentioned before, all of our muscles have a favorite length. They don't want to be too long, they don't want to be too short. They each have a favorite length that allows the muscle to work effectively, to work efficiently, and to get stronger. So one thing that we all do when we're tired is we tend to jut our hips forward and our upper body's back and round our shoulders and lock out our knees. Now this is genius of the body to do because it saves a whole lot of energy. We don't have to utilize our muscles to keep us standing. We're just hanging on our joints. But we've got to combat this tendency because over time it can cause problems in all of the joints. But in this particular instance, it also is bad for healing rectus abdominis separation. So what we want to do is first soften your knees a bit. You don't have to crouch, but we don't want them locked out. We want them just soft. Then you want to bring your upper body over your lower body so that your rib cage, torso, is stacked right on top of your hips and your pelvis. Then we want to roll our shoulder blades back and down so that our shoulders are stacked on top of our torso. And then we want to bring our head back over our shoulders. So everything is nicely stacked on top of each other. Now what this does is that by getting into this position where your torso is more forward, your hips are underneath you, it's taking the strain off of that rectus abdominis muscle and it's allowing it to be in a more advantageous position for healing. So I'd like you to be mindful of this when you're going about your daily activities. In addition, be mindful of balancing your weight between both feet. A lot of us like to stand like this, and look, that's just putting a whole lot of strain here. And I get it. I mean, we all need a sassy hip sometimes, right? But when you're healing diastasis recti, save the sassy hips for once this is healed. So balance your weight between both feet. Balance the weight forward and backwards on your feet. Soften those knees. Bring your torso forward over your pelvis. Lift through the crown of your head. Roll your shoulders back and mindfully bring your head back over your shoulders. Now, I don't want you to be like roboto. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to know how to align your body so that you can move with ease within this healthier range for your muscles and your joints. One tip is that if you're standing for long periods of time, you can stagger your feet one in front of the other, about hip widths apart, and that naturally grounds your weight between the 2 feet, as long as you make sure you balance the weight between the front and the back foot. And then you can switch around if you find you're hanging out for a really long time standing. But by staggering your feet, that helps you to get in that more advantageous position. So we reviewed ways to tighten the muscles of the abdomen up here. We reviewed ways to tighten the lower abdominal muscles. We learned the importance of engaging the glute muscles and aligning the hips so that our glute muscles can work properly. And we also reviewed posture and how crucial posture is. So I hope that this has been helpful for you, and I would love to hear your comments, concerns, suggestions. I always find I learn the most from people who have had these types of conditions too. So these worked for me when I had my abdominal separation, but I am also curious about what's worked for you.